Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the channel. We're going to get right to it. Did some off-camera flash with some songbirds yesterday as kind of like this is going to be a multi-part series, as I talked about in the last video. And I'll show you the setup. I'll go through all the setup, and I have some video footage of the setup. And then we'll get to the captures. There's some variations in the captures. Most of them had I was experimenting with off-camera flash and what I talked about, angled lighting and stuff like that, and filling in the dark side from, like, let's say, backlit subjects or subjects that were lit from off a corner or something like that. So let's get right over to the video, and then we'll go through some pictures.
Howdy, folks. Okay, what we're doing now is we're setting up this log as a staging area. Hopefully I can get some red-bellied woodpeckers, some downies. I've yet to come across a hairy. There's got to be hairies around. I just refuse to. I haven't seen one yet. But what I'm going to do is I found this log and tried to get one that was roughly a decent, not too big. And as you can see, this is a big, huge boulder. I live beneath one of the world's largest marble quarries. And a lot of rock here. And what I'm going to do is use this log as a perch, and I'm going to start playing with off-camera flash, and eventually see if I can get some birds flying in and get some action shots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, it's a 1-inch spade bit. I'm going to drill this log out, a series of holes, and I'm going to pack it with my homemade suet. This is nutty peanut butter suet. I'll post the recipe in the description of this video. I have it on that vertical pole. You take it out. Once you make it up, compress it in your hands, form it into a ball, and then mash it into these holes. They love this stuff. I know, Gussie. What is that? You're such a handsome boy. Yes, you are. You're a good boy. Yes, you are. He says, I'll take some of that. You can't be in here. You can't be in here. I know, you're such a good boy. The dog is severely ADD. Alright, so I wanted to find a log that wasn't really big. The problem with this is a great staging area, and also this is on a slope instead of having it flat, so it makes it much more interesting and more natural. I like that natural look. What I did was there were some twiggies like this growing on the rock behind it, so I cut those out because I wanted a pretty clean background. They use this as a staging perch a lot. There's a bird feeder right behind me, and there's another platform down there on the left. And a lot of birds light on this rock. So I figure if I could get them on here, it's angled, produces a more natural look. Unfortunately, I'm kind of down low, so I'm going to be shooting up at a very slight angle to this. But what I found is with long lenses, that angle tends to be minimized. So it's hard to know, like I've shot up at 10 or 12 feet at a bird, and yet because of my distance away from the subject and the focal length, you wouldn't know it. You can tell I was lower than the bird was, but it's nowhere near as extreme as the way it looks to your eye. So anyways, I'm going to try and make this work. So let me drill this out. Got this laying here. I don't think it'll go anywhere. So just put some holes in this bad boy. I want to keep them in a tight span because when you use off-camera flash, any type of flash system, it's proximity effect. In other words, further away, let's say I have the flash over here in the morning. Sun's right there. So let's say I want to put the flash over here. The further away the bird gets up this log, the less exposure I'm going to have. You get what I'm saying? So we'll try it and see what happens. So let me drill this puppy out. Let's go. I'd like to do 4 holes, so we'll do 1 here. And you want to put the holes so that the camera doesn't see them. So not necessarily on the back side, but you want to put them in so that when the capture happens, maybe they're pecking at the hole, you can't see that. It just looks like a log. Is this staging? Heck yeah, it's staging. So let me do this. My battery. Oh. Not quite deep enough. Woo! Break my freaking wrist, man. Let's do another one right here. Who knows? Maybe I get multiple birds on this. Oh. That's good. I usually drill them about as deep as the spade bit is. So that's probably what, an inch and a quarter, inch and a half. You can hear the blue jays. Obnoxious creatures. Help if I was going in the right direction. Yeah, good. One more right here. Okay. I'm going to try and get rid of the wood shavings so it doesn't look like a chainsaw went to it. Image is everything. Yeah. I always sprinkle some birdseed on this rock too, and it makes it look really, you know, birds get up here and they walk around on the edge. So now, boy, is it cold. Miserable. So you just take some of this, scoop it out of there. Just use your bare hands, get in there and do it. We'll see how this works because I have a lot of bully birds here. It's just part of the feeding. You feed the birds, yeah. Kind of sucks. Grackles, cardinals, not cardinals, we do have cardinals. Finally got my second pair. Saw 2 females in here. So you take this, jam it in the hole. You want to make sure that it's set into the hole, which I usually don't take the time to do. Set it into the hole so that you can't see it, the camera won't see it. I was watching on that pole yesterday, dark-eyed junco, because some birds aren't meant to be, you'll notice a lot of the songbirds with an exception to the nuthatch. I don't know if it's because they don't have the strength in their legs. They have long legs, like a sparrow. Juncos, they can't hold on to something upside down. You'll notice they'll always land on like a pseudo horizontal perch. But this junco kept trying to get to that suet, so he'd fly up, he couldn't hold on, he'd fall down. He did it over and over and over and over again, and I'm laughing. And finally, he was able to figure out how to get his talons into the edge of the hole on a vertical post like that and get at that suet. Yeah, he got at it. He cleaned that out, baby. Good for him. Fun. This is all fun. I'm having a great time doing this stuff. I love it. Surprise birds hadn't. A lot of the birds that are more tame, I mean, they'll fly right in on me. Oh, there's one. Just came into the feeder right underneath the rock there. They don't care. Where's my dog? Where'd my dog go? Oh, there he is. Good boy, Gus. Staying around. Last hole. All right. I got to go in and clean my hands. And we'll be back in a while with the setup and see what we can get. I'll keep watch over the next, I don't know, half hour.
All right, you guys. Sorry about the cannibalistic nature of this. And I apologize for the smudge on the lens. It's not a smudge, it's a massive scratch. That thing is junked. It's been junked. I got a new one coming, so I'll take care of that. So, anyways, let's get on to the images that I grabbed yesterday. Kind of some fun stuff, some interesting stuff. Get back over to the other screen. This is my almighty nemesis right here, the gray squirrel. This squirrel is so huge. I can't believe how big this guy is. Anyways, he was in a tree right behind where I was on the rock. He comes down, frequents the feeders every day, but he can't get into the feeders. I'll go into that. I fixed him. I fixed the chipmunk too. They can't get into the feeders. Super simple to do. Super easy. And cheap. I've seen all kinds of different squirrel-proof feeders. Meh. I'll show you how to fix that deal. So there's the squirrel. Enough of him. Alright, this is a junco on that log. And as you can see, I had the log tilted a little bit too much towards the camera because you can see the suet right here. But the biggest thing I wanted to show you was, this is with the off-camera flash, and this was over here to the right, off to the right, and you can see the catch light in his eye, and you can see the light, the way it was coming in. You see the shadow it produced. Now, to my liking, this is a little hot, because it looks like the sun. This is actually hotter. This is what I was explaining before. This is hotter than the ambient light, which was coming kind of from this direction. Right? It's still there. You can see it. See, this is still brighter than the flash, but you can tell how bright the flash was because he's got a pretty deep shadow right here on the log. So kind of neat. And also what I worked on is blowing the background out, making the background darker. Because it's very ugly time of year here. There's nothing green. That's why I chose the mossy rock. Just to provide some semblance of color in the scene. But everything, there are no leaves, there's nothing green, it's just brown and gray. So if I can get this to go a little darker, it won't be so distracting. And you'll see that ugly background in some more images here coming up. So this guy, this is more natural. Notice how natural this is? You can see the light. This is ambient light here on the log. He's behind the log, so he's kind of in shadow, right? But you can see the ambient light right here, and all the way down through here. But you can see that the balance is much, much better on this. See how this filled in? This would be all in shadow without that flash. And by raking, you see how it still produced a dynamic. So if this was fired from the camera, this would have been very, very bright right here through his chest because it's head on. But this is what I was talking about. This gives you a more dynamic look, right? And if you look at his legs, you can see the highlights on his feet was from the ambient light over here. And yet, when you look closely, all of this side of the bird has some really nice exposure on it. It looks very natural. If I didn't tell you there was flash on it, you'd probably never know. That's the goal. That's what I'm going after. I'm just giving you guys stuff to think about and how to approach this. It's all in what you like. Personally, this is what I like. I don't like hammering a bird with flash. Like on the Junco, you can tell that was flash. That was hammered. And this is another very cool one. Catch light in his eye right here. This is that Junco. He was going after the suet and the pole up here. And you can see the highlight? This side of the bird is illuminated. You have a nice shadow right here, the break. Beak. Exposure is dynamite. And the sunlight was coming in very diffused. It was diffused sunlight, and it was coming in from up here. So it lit him up. This is hotter. This is filled. So it creates a dynamic in exposure. So you have probably a full stop less, maybe 1 1/3 stop less exposure on the flash side, and yet it provides illumination with a catch light in his eye. So it looks natural, more balanced, kind of more portrait-like, you know. Really like this. This came out really, really good. It's exactly what I'm after. And the almighty male cardinal. He was on the ground. See how ugly this is? This is what I'm talking about. It's just an ugly, and this is an amazing capture to me because you can see his pupil right there. That is really cool. Really cool. No flash on this. No flash. You can tell the light was coming in from back here. This is all about light. This is kind of like a light study, what I'm going to be doing for, a few episodes here. Another kind of cool one. This was under cloud cover. We had sun coming in and out. So the light, it was like a giant softbox. It was very diffused. So the flash was actually same spot. It was over here at just a little bit higher than eye level. So it was probably up here, and it was at about a 45-degree angle from this log. So you do like a 45. You kind of come down towards the corner of the screen here and then up. That's about where the light is. You always want, if you can, try and get your light a hair higher than the bird. So you don't end up with a shadow above. Light generally comes from above to some extent. It doesn't come from down below, from down here. If it was down here, above his beak would be dark. You kind of see what I'm saying? Not to mention any obstacles, any things. It would have produced a shadow on his body from the log. You see what I mean? And this was shot with the EOS 90D and the 200 to 400 LIS, the big dog. No teleconverter. And yes, these were cropped and very rapid post-processing. Just levels adjustments, which didn't really need a whole lot of adjustment. And a dehaze, which is what I generally do. Catch light in his eye. Really nice balanced exposure. You have a little gradient right here, which you should have. If the light's coming from above and it's natural, you should see his underbelly go a little bit dark. So you can see the flash is about equal to the ambient light, which was coming in from up here. Because you can tell, you see the top of his head all the way down his back. This goes into shadow right here, which means the light is coming from over here. You see what I'm saying? So this may be a third of a stop hot, but I really like it, and I'm not going to balk at it because it's so close. I mean, I am really nitpicking here. Another shot of the Cardinal. This was right behind where I was sitting, and I had to shoot through some things. And this is something that I know a lot of people complain about. This was autofocus, and I was shooting through this stuff, and I was able to grab. It snapped right onto focus. That 90D with that lens snapped right on the focus right here. And you can see that I was shooting through stuff. Right here, there was stuff in the way, and he was peeking through a little window. I really like this shot. Really, really like it. But you think with stuff in the foreground, now it did hunt for a brief moment. And I just shifted the camera a little bit on the gimbal because I didn't really have it on his eye. The focus point was more over here, and it grabbed this right here. I just moved it a little bit right onto his head and his beak, and bam, it just snapped right to it. So it's a good system. If people have problems, it's probably, I would say, their technique. It's a very capable rig. Female Cardinal landed in a branch. No flash. The Cardinal, this picture had no flash either. None, as you can tell, very flat, very diffuse lighting. This is what I'm talking about. This is like a giant softbox. It's very flattering. Would I have preferred low angle direct sunlight? Yes, because it really makes a Cardinal pop, but I'll take this. Same with her. You can tell it's backlit. Look right here at her feathers. And this is later on in the day. The light was all up here. It was probably almost, well, the sun was almost direct overhead, but it was cloudy. So you can see the highlight right here. But see how this is almost like a rim light. See her beak? Comes up her back, down around here, onto her beak, and then you can just catch it on the left side here. It's what I don't know if it's the right term, but it's what I call a rim light. And you can also see on the branches where how the light is. Pretty much overhead and from a little bit behind her. Maybe a little bit this way. Very happy with that shot. Not happy with this Twiggy, but hey, it's natural. It's a natural environment. That's what I'm going for. This was a super fun capture. No flash. 3 mourning doves, and they were going in and out of sleep. I was watching them. They were just kind of together, sleeping on the ground, underneath off to the left of one of the bird feeders. As you can see, ugly background, but it actually makes it sort of interesting. I don't like this going across the back. That's obnoxious to me. But, you know, I guess maybe this spring what I'll do is once things green up, maybe I'll take the weed whacker and I'll get rid of all this stuff. So who knows? Who knows? Yep, that is it. So I'll catch you guys later. Have a nice day. We are getting absolutely slammed with snow. I got to get outside and plow the minute it gets light. They were saying we could get up to 16 inches. All I can say is, are you kidding me? Well, we didn't have hardly any snow all year, so I knew we were going to pay for it. We'll see you later. Thanks for watching, guys and gals. And hopefully see you soon. Don't be afraid to leave a comment. Share your tips, tricks in this arena. If you played with this off-camera flash stuff, or even flash photography with birds. And I'm always interested. Like I said, this is the embryonic stage, the beginning stage. And I've been up since 3 o'clock. I don't know what it is. It's 6:47 right now. I'm up since about 3:30, and I'm pie-eyed already. Yeah. We'll see you all later. You take care. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're interested, subscribe, please. But more importantly, hit the like, and it will help with the algorithm kind of spread this around. We'll see you later.